So one of the core tenets of my coaching is you can absolutely change your relationship with work. It doesn't need to be draining. It can absolutely be fulfilling without having to leave your job. And so people ask me all the time, like, well, how is that? Like, Chris, I don't get it. Like, explain it to me. And what do you mean by, like, I could take this outdoor side of me, the mountain biker, the climber, the skier within me, and bring that side of me to work? Well, let me illustrate what I mean. I'm on my morning run here in my backyard in Colorado. And I'm just having this great run. And the story I want to share with you is how I haven't been a runner. In fact, I just went from never having run 10K in my entire life. Like May, it was the first time in my life I ever ran 10K. And I'm about to do an ultra out in Moab in the span of 6 months. From nothing, literally, like never run 6 miles, to running an ultra. Now, how did I do that, right? I didn't have to change who I was. I had to change my state of being in my relationship with running. That's where the magic actually happened. And this is the goal that you can too. You don't need to change who you are. You don't need to change your external circumstances. The hardest work I did in my journey from a non-runner to an ultra runner in 6 months, no joke, right, was to change my beliefs. Because the training actually has been way easier than I expected. Like, I just did a half marathon a few weeks ago, and I expected it to be hard. And I was like, this is actually easy, right? And it started with letting go. Because the problem I had is that I was not a runner. I believe that, like, I don't run. I'm a mountain biker, right? And the mountain biking, I literally bagged on runners. I called running like the lesser evolved form of mountain transportation. I mean, kind of think about it. Literally, it's true. Like, mountain bikes came later. It's a technical innovation. They're kind of modern marvels. And I think about my Yeti, right? And so because of this, I believed I don't run. Running isn't for me. But secretly behind that was a sense of, like, envy. Like, when I moved to Colorado Springs, I met this guy Bracken, and he, one of the first things, he's like, oh yeah, and I ran this ultra, and I was like, whoa, like, you ran an ultra? Like, it blew my mind that here's this guy I'm riding with who did that. And I was like, my first thought was, I could never do that. That's not for me. That's not possible. You can do that, but but nope, not me. And that was the barrier. That was the wall that prevented me. And it took dismantling that belief was the biggest problem. So think about your own beliefs. Like, oh, I can't be happy in my current job. Like, there's no way I could be a director or a C-suite executive or take that next level. There's no, like, I don't have the right experience, or those imposter syndrome beliefs that often come up with the guys I speak with, right? Like, if they just discovered who I really was, then they wouldn't, I wouldn't be here anymore. Those are all beliefs, right? And so the dismantling of that belief was inviting space. And how I invited that space for a new belief was I ran the Boulder, a 10K in May, with my family. I thought it'd be a great opportunity to get my son out and teach him how to, how to struggle and do hard things and overcome challenge. So we did it as a family. And that's what got me starting. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'll never forget, like, there I was at mile 6, right towards the end, and there's this guy holding up a sign. And the sign said, only 20 more to go. I'm like, ha, 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 you're funny. But, like, that seed got planted in my mind. And I was like, well, this 10K was actually easier than I expected. Immediately, it's a Boulder. We're going kind of slow, and we're stopping it all. Like, they have, like, slip-and slides and, like, cotton candy stations and all that stuff. It's like an event. If you've never done it, check it out. But it planted a seed. And from there, I said, well, instead of saying, I can't run, I can't do that, I said, well, that's intriguing. How do I do that? From that question of how, I realized I had to make some changes, like problems that were structural within me. Like, I didn't know how to run, it turns out. So I hired a running coach, and we looked at my form, and we saw that, like, I had real issues with that. And one of the reasons that I didn't run is whenever I tried running, I'd fail. Like, my knees would blow up, tendinitis would flare, and it would suck, and it was just painful. And he's like, no, you have a form issue. You're using your little toes as a big toe, and we have to do some big toe activations. So I did a bunch of, like, toga, and I had to relearn how to walk, and I had to, believe that I could. and then take action to solve the issues that were preventing me from having the relationship with running that I really wanted. And then once I relearned how to walk, which was very humbling, like I had to recheck these assumptions, these ways of really moving that have been biomechanically ingrained within me for decades. And so for you to change your relationship with work, one of the things, the work that I like to help people do is change some of these assumptions you're making, that I can't do that, that like, I'm a procrastinator, or, I'm just behind on my email, or, I don't have what it takes to be at that next level, or, for me to perform at that higher level, it needs to be a sacrifice. That means I won't be able to get out on the weekends, or I'm not going to be present with my family, or some of the ways, the relationship you have with your inbox. These are just deeply ingrained ways of, just like I had a deeply ingrained way of running, of using my little toe as a big toe, that you have of how you move through the experience of work. And once we unearth those, magic becomes possible. The whole new world by magic, not literally like the Harry Potter stuff, but it seems like magic, because in a very short period of time, things will unlock that you previously didn't think were possible. And that's exactly what happened to me. And then it was just a matter of just doing the work and just showing up, putting in the training. And, a week ago, I did a 20-mile test run. 20 miles. And I was like, at the end of it, I was like, yeah, I'm tired, but I can keep going. Like, that blew my mind. And so I'm feeling, here I am, the race is next week. I'm driving out to Moab. Wish me luck. I'm super excited, doing it with my wife. And, here's another runner here too. Cheers, good run. And know that you too, what becomes possible if you let go of these assumptions that you have, that like, I can't do that, I can't change my relationship with work, it's always going to be draining, or I don't know what I'm meant to do next, or that it feels like a sacrifice, that I'm just meant to grind it out. Those are all beliefs. There's a whole possibility if you just willing to let go, challenge some of these assumptions. But number two is have a process. I needed outside support. I needed a coach to sit down and analyze my gait and say, here's what's not working for you. And that's exactly what I do, and why I've helped over 175 guys at this point, adventurous outdoorsy guys who are struggling with burnout, struggling with feeling drained, struggling with procrastination, struggling performing at the level that they used to, get their mojo back and change their relationship with work. So if you're interested in that, reach out, and I'll be happy to answer some questions and help you support. So hit the like button, click on the link below for more information. And my name is Chris Truthopoulos, and I look forward to talking with you more soon. Cheers.